Is it visible? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir.
So yesterday we were here, design consideration for the gear drive. So what are the considerations we have kept in our mind while designing the gear? So these are the few points I listed here. So once again I want to repeat these points. So power to be transmitted, we have to focus on how much power is transmitting. We have to focus on how much speed is there, and velocity ratio, and how much center distance is there. By keeping all these points in your minds, we have to design the gates. And here another factors are there. The gate teeth should have sufficient strength. Remember this point. This point again you will see in the design criteria, design point of view. The gate teeth should have the sufficient strength so that they will not fail under the static and dynamic loading under normal application of loads. So this is the main point. You have to remember this one. Again you will see this point in the further. Next one is a gate. It should have the wear characteristics and so that give the life satisfactory, and the use of space and material should be economical. It means it should be compact layout, and whatever the material you are selecting, that material should be economical to you, and it should be economical to whoever the taking the service. And the alignment of the gates and deflection of the shaft must be considered, because these parameters shows the performance effect of on performance of the gates, and lubrications we have to provide in a satisfactory condition. So these are the factors also affect the design of gates. So this is the so with this topic we are starting the design of spur gear. So in our syllabus topics we have classification of gears, material used for the gears, gear terminology. These are all things what we discussed yesterday. These are all things are there in the syllabus. In addition to this, design of spur gear, design of helical gear, design of arm gear. These are all the points are in our syllabus. Now the design of spur gear begins with this topic, and today we are going to discuss the this design criteria. What are the parameters we have to consider, and what are the loads are there, how to overcome that loads. So these are all things we discuss, and we shall now complete the design procedure for the spur gear today. Okay, now this is the topic Levis equation. The beam strength of the gear teeth is determined by the equation. That equation name is given here, Levis equation. Why the Levis equation given to that name? Because Levis is a scientist. In 1892, Wilfred Levis investigated the one equation based on the strength of the gear teeth. He derived an equation. Today, it is essentially using in industry to determine the sizes and proportions of the gear. So that's the reason the name is given to the equation on the scientist name, that is Levis equation. The load here, the load capability, the load carrying ability of the tooth gear is going to determine the by equation. This is the one, and this equation here giving the satisfactory results also. There is no there is no flaws are there here. Okay, so here to determine this equation, Lewis assumed the one thing, that is, suppose there are two wheels are there. On two wheel, one gear is there, another gear teeth is there. So he assumed that the load is being transmitted by this driver gear to the driven gear by a single teeth. It means, see here, this is the driver having the power. This load is transmitted by this teeth, hitting this teeth to this teeth here, and because of that reason, the other another gear is going to rotate in the opposite direction. So it means the load is being transmitted by the one gear to the another gear by considering the one teeth here. So like this he assumed here, because while the two gears are in a meeting, nothing but meshing, it is not to say consider the all teeth are carried the loads to transmit from one gear to another gear. So like that he assumed, based on he derived some equation. Another assumption, he considered one teeth as a cantilever beam. So I am drawing the why he assumed as a cantilever beam. Suppose this is a gear wheel, and on gear one gear teeth is there. So this gear teeth is assembled to the gear wheel. Something, but this is a one kind of cantilever beam. Okay. So he assumed that gear teeth as a cantilever beam, and here one tangent line is passing always, because it is satisfying the gear law of gearing. What is law of gearing? Always the common normal point, the common normal line is always passes through the one particular point, that is the pitch point. So that is here in this diagram, you can see on the screen. So you can see here on the screen, common tangent line is passing through the pitch point. So pitch point is nothing but, why I am telling pitch point, because see this is the one gear, another gear is going to mesh from the top side. Okay, so at this point of contact, the pitch circles here going to meet. Here another pitch circle is going to meet. At this particular pitch point, common normal line is passing. So that is condition of law of gearing to maintain the constant velocity ratio. So this is the normal load is acting on the teeth, that is showing on this diagram. Now this normal load is resolved into two components. One is the tangential load, one is the radial load. So this normal load is resolved into tangential load and radial load. Now see here, this tangential load is acting perpendicular to the axis of the teeth. Radial load is acting along the axis of the teeth. Okay. Now again the Wt is inducing the bending stress on the teeth, that is the because of Wt, and Wr is induced the compressive load, nothing but because of the Wt, the bending stress is generating on the teeth, and because of the Wr, compressive stress is going to generate. So here the significance of the Wr here neglected, because there is no, if you compare the Wt and Wr, the Wr is magnitude is very less, so that's the reason this Wr is not considered for the design purpose. Only the thing is Wt is the plays the vital role to fail the gear teeth. So based on this assumption, Lewis considered the bending moment equation, that is m by I equal sigma b by y. By considering this equation, he derived one equation, that is bending moment here is Wt into h, load into perpendicular distance, and I is the moment of inertia. So based on parameters, the moment of inertia is Bt cube by 12, and y is the distance from the neutral axis to outermost layer, that is t by 2. Substituting the r equations here, sigma w equals Wt equal sigma w equal m by I into y. M is Wt into h into t by 2 by I is the BT cube by 12. Now from this equation, sigma W equal WT into H into 6 by BT square. Now from this relation, WT is nothing but sigma W B into T square by 6H. So this is the equation. Now in this equation, T is assuming that X into PC, H is assuming that K into PC. So his intention is to convert these parameters in terms of circular pitch. So that is the reason he consider these relations where the X and H are the constants. Okay. Now if we substitute these values in this above equation, sigma B, sigma W, B into T X square by X square into PC square by 6 into, here I am writing KPC. So PC gets cancelled. Sigma W B into square by 6 PC KPC. K into PC, that is WT. Now WT equal sigma W into B into PC into X square by 6K. Now this whole product is referred as a small y, where small y is a Levy's form factor, otherwise tooth form factor, okay. So this is the y. Again if we substitute the y, see here, this y is a tooth form factor, will play the vital role in selection of gears. Gear selection means which one is the weaker, which one is the stronger. So while selecting the gear weaker and stronger, this y is going to play the vital role. So again if you substitute the what is x and what is k in this equation, from this relation x means T by PC, from this equation k means PC by H. So if you substitute here, please mute yourself. T square by PC T square by PC square into H by Tc. So T square by 6Pc cube into H. So it means the Lewis form factor is depending on the tooth thickness, tooth height and circular pitch. Okay. So that's the reason while selecting the weaker or stronger, this will going to place the vital role. Now finally the Lewis found one equation. Tangential load is acting on the gate teeth is sigma W B into Pc into Y. This equation also we can write in this form: Wt equal sigma W B into circular pitch is we can write as pi into module into sigma Y. Okay. In this equation, Wt is tangential load in terms of newtons. Sigma W is the normal permissible working stress. B is the width of the tooth. Pi is a constant. M is the module, that is the ratio of diameter to the tooth, number of teeth, and Y is the Lewis form factor. So this Lewis form factor is depending on these parameters. So that's the reason. So that's the reason some equations are deduced from the by conducting the number of experiments. Some equations are arrived. That equations are empirical relations. I'm writing here 0.124 minus 0.684 by number of teeth. This is the one equation. Another equation 0.154 minus 0.912 by number of teeth, and another relation 0.175 by 0.841 by number of teeth. So these equations are taken from the some standard relations. By conducting the number of experiments, these equations are generated. So these equations are known here empirical relation. At any cost, you have to be remember these all relations. This will help in the solving the numericals. Okay. So which one we have to select for particular problem? That is the next question mark. So based on the system of gate tooths, what we have basically we have four types of system of tooth gates. That is 14 and a half, full depth, involute system, R, and composite system. Full depth, involute 1, full depth, sorry, 14 and a half full depth, 14 and a half composite system. Two system of gates is the one, and 20 degrees full depth involute system and 20 degrees sub system. So based on system of gate teeth, we have to select the this Y value, Lewis form factors. Where in this equation the P is number of teeth. Again somebody. So these equations you have to remember. In the Lewis equation, what equations we have to be remember? One is the WT equation, that is sigma W B PC into Y. Again for this Y, these equations we have to remember. Okay. The next one is is it clear, Babu? Any doubts do you have? You can ask. This is another topic. Permissible working stress for the gate teeth in Lewis equation. In Lewis equation, sigma W you can find. Here the sigma W is there. What is the sigma W? Sigma W is nothing but permissible working stress. So that permissible working stress we have to calculate separately again. So to calculate permissible working stress, again we have some empirical relation, that is sigma naught into Cv. So sigma naught is nothing but allowable static stress. Sigma naught is the allowable static stress in megapascal, and Cv is the velocity factor. Cv is the velocity factor. So see here, this sigma naught is depending on the type of material. What material we are selecting for the designing gear, this sigma naught is depending on that material. See, you can find on the table cast iron ordinary gears 56 megapascal. For cast iron medium range gear 70 megapascal. Cast iron high grade gears 105. So like this you can find the values. So it is difficult to remember the total whole table. So that's the reason my suggestion is you can if you remember these 4 to 5 numbers, that is enough, because most of the problems will arise from these 4 categories. Okay, and now coming to the velocity factor. Cv is also having the relations, empirical relations. Cv equal 3 by 3 plus V. Again, Cv is 4.5 by 4.5 V. Again, Cv is 6 by 6 plus V. Again, one more relation we have 0.75 by 0.75 plus square root of V, where V is the pitch line velocity, that is pi dn by 60. Okay, where pi is V is the pitch line velocity, pi dn by 60. Again the question is, this Cv, we have 4 equations, 4 relations we have. So among the 4 relations, which one we have to select, that is the question mark. So here also system of no, sorry, here depending on the speed, it means for the ordinary cut, and having the velocity up to 12.5 meter per second, such kind of velocity is if given in the question, then you have to select this equation. And this equation is for carefully cut gears, and having the velocity up to the 12.5 meter per second. And this 6 plus 6 is very accurately cut, and velocity is having up to 20 meter per second. And the last one is a precision gear cut, and having the velocity up to 20 meter per second. So such kind of statement if you find in the question, so then based on that statement you have to be selected. This is equation what I listed here, that is a Cv, velocity factor. In that V is a pi d n by 60. So pi d n by 60 we can also find by relation Pc equal pi m. Okay, so from the relation pi m, so m means d by t, nothing but Pc is equal to pi d by t. So this d equal Pc into t by pi. So d, if you write here in this equation, that is pi into Pc into t by 60 into pi. So this pi gets cancelled. Pc into t by 60. With this relation also you can find the velocity. Okay, is it clear, Babu? Any doubts still? So next one is the dynamic tooth load. So dynamic tooth load is So dynamic tooth load is a one type of load acting on the gear teeth. So there are so many reasons are there to acting the dynamic load on the teeth. So among the several, as a subject point of view, there are few I'm listing here. First one is the due to inaccuracies of tooth spacing. Due to the inaccuracies of tooth spacing, there will be a definitely dynamic load is going to acting on the gate teeth, because the tooth spacing is nothing but it is the space between the two teeth. It is the space between the two teeth. So if there is a inaccuracy, means on the gear wheel, if you not maintain the proper tooth spacing, it means you are giving here 1 meter, here giving your 2 meter. If you not maintain proper gear tooth spacing, so at that the times you can expect the dynamic load is acting on the gear teeth. This is the one reason, one causing to generate the dynamic load on the teeth. Another reason, another cause is irregularities in tooth profile. Of tooth profile. So this is another point, the causing of the dynamic load on the tooth, irregularities of the tooth profile. It means this tooth profile is nothing but giving the shape to the gear teeth. If you not maintain the constant gear teeth shape on the gear wheel, so there will be a definitely dynamic load is going to act on the each teeth. So that's the reason. So that's the reason we can expect the dynamic load is acting on the gear teeth. So again, this tooth profile also will play the vital role in designing of the particularly gear teeth. Okay, and the third one is deflection on the teeth under load. Under loading. So under loading, if there are the deflections are there on the gear wheel, so there will be also again dynamic load is going to acting on the teeth. So these the points I listed here. These are the three causes for the dynamic load acting on the gear teeth. So for this, number of experiments again conducted. So based on the number of conducting the number of experiment, some equations are taken. That equations are called here empirical relations. So that relation is I am writing Wt plus 21V into Bc plus Wt by 21V plus square root of Bc plus Wt. So this is the empirical relation. Again, you have to be remember always this equation. Okay, where Wd is the dynamic load acting on the teeth, Wt is the tangential load is acting on the teeth, V is the pitch line velocity meter per seconds, C is the FAM dynamic load factor, dynamic load factor, and B is the face width of the teeth. And this whole product is referred as incremental dynamic load. This whole product is known as incremental dynamic load, and the WD is the total dynamic load. So this relation, any cost you have to be remember, and this dynamic load factor, some table is there. So from the table you have to select. Otherwise, another relation we have for the dynamic load factor. C equal K into small e by 1 by EP plus 1 by EG. 1 by EP plus 1 by EG, where K is the again here factor depending upon the tooth teeth. K is a factor depending upon the gear teeth. So it means this K value 0.107, another K value 0.111, another K value 0.115. So these three values we have for K factor. So among these three, again which one we have to select. So these three are the depends on the tooth system, that is a 14.5 degrees full depth involute system and composite system, and this is for 20 degrees full depth involute system, and this is for 20 degrees stub system. So this K value will get from this relation, and E is the service factor. This also we have to select from the table, otherwise we can take the values from the 0 to some value is there from 0 to 0.09. Between this range you can select any value if you have difficulty to remember the so many tables. Okay, and what is EP, what is EG? EP is nothing but Young's modulus for the pinion, EG is the Young's modulus for the gear. What is pinion, what is gear here again? So the element whichever is having the small size, that is treated as here pinion. Okay, the element whichever is having the larger size, that is treated as a here gear. So element means one circular disc having the number of teeth on the circumference of the wheel. Okay, if this wheel is having the small size, that is known as a pinion. If this wheel is having the larger size, that is known as a gear. Okay, so 1 by EP is the Young's modulus for the pinion in megapascal, and 1 by EG is nothing but Young's modulus for the gear in megapascal. So this will help to calculate the dynamic load factor. After getting the C value, substitute here, you will get the WD value. Okay. Another one is a static tooth load. So static tooth load is nothing but when the gear is rotating continuously, the load is continuously, there will be two types of load is acting on the gears. One is a statically, one is a dynamically. So this is one of the static loading. This one is also referred as a beam strength and endurance strength. Here I am writing the static loading is also referred as beam strength or endurance strength. Okay, so this equation is, instead of writing in WT what we got from the Lewis equation, WT equals sigma W B PC into Y. So instead of writing sigma W, if you write sigma E endurance strength, that is here I am writing sigma E B PC into Y, that's the given the solution, that is given for the equation for the static load. Okay, and this one sigma E value again depends on the material what we selected for the gear. So that's the reason what some table is there. On the table, based on the material property, based on the Brinell hardness number, this sigma E value we have to remember. Otherwise, if you are getting difficult to remember the value, so you can easily remember from the 84 to 250 megapascal. Between this range, you can select the any value for the sigma E. Okay. Again, Buckingham, some scientist is there. He derived this relation. So he gives the some standard rules, that is to select the WS value. For not selecting WS value, whether it is safe condition or not, to check that he given some relations, that is static load is greater than the 1.25 times the dynamic load. This is for static loading. Another one is WS is greater than or equal to 1.35 times the WD. This is for the pulsating loads. Another relation, WS is greater than or equal to 1.5 times the WD. This is for the shock loads. Okay, this condition is given by the Buckingham. So the conditions are also we are calling as a Buckingham conditions. So if this condition for the particular given problem, if the static load or pulsating load or shock load, so if this condition is satisfying, then our design is safe for the calculated WS value. It means our calculated WS value, if it is getting the less than this value, so our design is not safe. Again, we have to restart from the starting, and considering the parameters whatever the gear material is having, gear terminology what we are having, we have to take the all parameters into considerations, again solve the answer. Okay, same manner for this value also, same manner for this also. And for endurance limit, if you are unable to remember this range, so another relation we have, that is endurance strength equal 1.75 into BHN. What is BHN here? What is BHN, Babu? BHN is the Brinell hardness number. So based on the material hardness, if you substitute the here in this equation, means multiply with the 1.75, so you will get the endurance strength for the selected gear material. So this BHN number will be given in the question. So based on the hardness of the material, we are getting the endurance limit. So that is in terms of megapascal. So this is the another equation. Next one is the static load. The wear load acting on the gear teeth. Wear load is acting on the gear teeth. So the maximum load that gear can be carried without premature wear and depend on the radius of curvature of the gear teeth profile and on the elasticity and the surface fatigue limits of the material. And these are all considering, so by considering these are all parameters, Buckingham given the equation, that is the wear load, that is dp d suffix small p into b into q into k. So this equation again you have to be remember, where W is the wear load acting on the gear teeth, maximum load. dp is the pitch circle diameter of the pinion, pitch circle diameter of pinion. Pinion in terms of, this is in terms of newtons in mm, and B is the face width of the gear teeth, face width of the gear teeth, and K is the here load stress factor. So whatever I am writing on the screen, Babu, everything is important design point of view. Even if you go in the practical in ANSYS in industry design field, if you go, these equations are going to play vital role in the designing of gates. So these equations are inbuilt in the analysis. In analysis, whatever you are doing in the analysis for the analysis, the stress analysis, deflection analysis. Okay, these are all things you are going to do. So these equations are inbuilt in the software. Okay, how these are going to affect on the performance of the gate. These are going to you are analyzing the ANSYS. So if you are perfect with these equations, we can easily understand that what is telling on the software. Okay. So dp is nothing but here pitch circle diameter. Now one is the I forgot this one q. Q is the ratio factor. Q is the ratio factor. So this equation again I am writing separately. I am writing Q ratio factor 2 VR by VR plus R minus 1. VR means velocity ratio. Again, V means velocity ratio. That is nothing but Tg by Tp or dg by dp or np by ng. That is the meaning of velocity ratio. Ratio of number of teeth on gear to number of teeth on pinion is a one meaning, or else we can also call as a diameter of the gear to the diameter of pinion, or else we can also call as np by speed of the pinion by speed of the gear. So see here, for these two I am writing commonly dg by dp. For this I am writing reciprocal. So remember this difference. And now here plus or minus I use plus symbol for the external gearing. Plus sign for the external gearing. Negative sign is for internal gearing. Okay. So based on the system gearing, what type of gearing is given, external type or internal type. By seeing the statement, we are going to select this equation. Suppose external gearing is given in the question, so at that time what we have to write? 2 velocity ratio by velocity ratio plus 1. If the question is given internal gearing, instead of writing positive, you have to write 2 VR by VR minus 1. Okay. Now for the load stress factor, again we have some relation. What is that relation? K equal load stress factor K equal sigma E S square by sin pi divided by 1.4 into 1 by EP plus 1 by EG. So this relation is for load stress factor. Load stress factor. Okay. So here ES is nothing but endurance strength in shear. Pi is nothing but pressure angle. EP is nothing but Young's modulus for pinion. EG is nothing but Young's modulus for gear. Okay. Based on these parameters, we will get the K value. Okay. And again, here in this equation, sigma ES value we have to be remembered. So difficult here, there will be definitely difficult to remember the all tables. So that reason I am simplifying that you can remember this range from 630 to some 350. So if you remember this value from 350 350 to 630 megapascal, within this range we can select the endurance strength in shear for this value. Okay. So remember, Babu, the stress values are depends on the material type. Young's modulus also depends on the material type. Okay. And what other topics are there? This endurance. See here, just now I told endurance strength are the stress values. So whatever the megapascal is appearing here, that megapascal is depending on the type of material. What material we are selecting for the design, that is depending on that. In ANSYS also, when you go to the practically in design software side, so when you are analyzing the particular element, there you have to insert, you have to give the properties of the material. So after giving the properties of the material, you will get the results in terms of megapascal or Newton per mm square, that is as stresses. Nothing but we are calculating stress, how much stress is generating, how much deflection is going to generate, and the design part. These are all things going to be analyzing. If the designed, whatever the parameters are getting in the ANSYS, that values are within the limits, then only we are allowing it to manufacturing. Okay, so these things are you are going to see in you can understand after your completion of the subject and after completion of the finite element analysis. Okay, so basically you have to perfect with these equations, whether examination hall data book is allowing or not, irrespective of the matter, that you have to be remember these points. You have to clarify about the what is the title, what is the equation, what is the intention of the equation, how we have to overcome that failures. If you have perfectness with these topics, what with these criteria, so easily you can understand that ANSYS software. Because in further after completion of your BTech, definitely you will face the, if you go to the design and software side, definitely you will face this problem. How it is calculating, how we have to select permissible limits, how it is going to failure is happening on that screen. These are all things will appear. Okay, Babu. So this is a wear load factor, wear load acting on the tooth. Now see here, one more thing I want to announce here in the, just I am going forward. So here in this design consideration for gear tooth should have sufficient strength, will not fail under the static and dynamic loading. It means whatever the loads we calculated, see here first one tangential load, this Levy's equation is to aim is to calculate the WT value, and here dynamic load WD value, dynamic loading, W is a static load, VL load. So whatever the gear we design, that should have sufficient strength to withstand the dynamic and static loading. So whatever the all loads are acting on the gear should withstand from all these loads whatever acting on the gear. Okay. So that is the importance of that statement what we given in the starting. Okay. Now this is the design procedure. If we complete for the design procedure, we'll start the numericals on this spur gauge. Okay. Design procedure. So design procedure is there standard here. Standard design procedure is here. In the design procedure, the first point I'm explaining, this is a very important, Babu. So whatever the problem is given in this manner only you have to solve. First one, find out the tangential load by this equation I'm writing here. WT equal P by V into CS. Power by pitch line velocity into service factor. This is used to calculate the WT value. Tangential load is acting on the gear teeth in terms of newtons. Okay. And V is the pitch line velocity, pi d n by 60, and one more, what is the power, P equal to pi t by 60 in terms of watts, and CS is the service factor. Service factor means, see in the table there are types of loads acting: steady load, light load, medium shock load, heavy load. Okay, based on again the service, it is working for the 3 hours per day, it is working for the 8 to 10 hours per day. See here you can find 8 to 10 hours, 3 hours per day, and continuously it is working for a whole day from morning to night, next morning per day, that is 24 hours. So based on these parameters, based on the load of type of load acting, this Ks value you have to select. Okay, Bob. So this table at any cost you have to remember, there is no condition is there. Just now I said from 300 to 650, from 225 to 300, like that I given the some hints. So that hints are not applicable here, because here different values are there for steady load, light load, medium, shock, heavy load. So for different days per day it is working 3 hours per day, 8 to 10 hours per day, 24 hours. So that's the reason I am unable to tell what equation we have to select. That I am unable to tell the range from this range to this range. If you remember, that is enough, like that. Okay. So that is the first step in design procedure. Now after calculating this one, the second is the very important, that is application of the Levy's equation. Application of the Levy's equation. So to which element we have to apply the Levy's equation? It means, and meshing of gears, two elements we have. What are those? Gear and pinion. So between these two, to which element, means to gear or to pinion, we have to apply the Levy's equation. What is the Levy's equation? Levy's equation is Wt equals sigma W B P C Y. So this equation we have to apply to the gear or pinion. So that is the important factor in the design procedure, application of Levy's equation. So to apply, to which element we have to apply, there are 3 points I am listing now here. First one is the apply the Levy's equation to the weak portion of the, weakest one of the element. So here okay, apply the Levy's equation, weakest element, either it may be gear, either it may be pinion, whatever it may be, we don't know, but whichever you are finding as a weaker, so apply the equation to that element. Now the second condition I am listing here. Now second point is I am listing here, when the two elements are made of same material, then definitely the pinion is the weaker one. And we have to apply the Levy's equation to the pinion, because when both are made of same material. And the third one, if you are unable to find out the which one is the weakest one, so this third equation, this third point will help. If we calculate sigma W and Y are sigma naught into Y, if we calculate this product for the gear and as well as per pinion, after calculating these products, either this one or this one, Babu, not two, either you can select this product or you can select this product, apply this product for the gear, calculate in terms of gear for, and in terms of pinion calculate separately. Whichever value you are finding the less one, So apply the Lewis equation to the lesser value. So based on these conditions, we can apply the Lewis equation. Okay. So rest of the topic tomorrow we will discuss. Regarding today's topic, do you have any doubts? You can clarify about. Don't leave. I am taking attendance.